Hello there, welcome back to another set of shows. Today I'm talking about a Johnnie To film called Exiled. This film was made just after his election series, which I've already covered in earlier videos, and just before Mad Detective. So this was in the middle of Johnnie To's run, one of his big runs, in the mid 2000s. I've got some other To films to watch. I've got Vengeance and Drug War to watch still. I've got a Full-Time Killer, which I've seen years ago, but I need to rewatch that one as well. And I'm starting to look through some of his other films and trying to get hold of some of them. But he's not always the easiest person to get hold of, film-wise, in the UK. But I'm definitely motivated now to do it. It's something that's interesting me. So it's definitely something I'll be doing. Especially as Exiled is a genuine great film. So was Election series. Election 1 and 2 were amazing films. So is this one. I remember loving Full-Time Killer when I saw it. So I'm definitely on the Johnnie To train now. He's been like, everything I've seen of his has been just astonishing. And having the same thing again and again. Like, this one's far more cartoonish than the Election series. And Full-Time Killer was even more cartoonish than this. But this one has a nice balance. It does have a sense of absurdity. It does feel influenced by spaghetti westerns from Sergio Leone and other spaghetti westerns around about him, like Corbucci and places like that. And it's cynical about the ways of the world, cynical about how people are surviving the world, but it's also got this kind of cartoonish feel where the protagonist can do amazing things with guns, things that aren't really possible in real life, but they can do them in this film. So that's something that the film has really going for it. Like, you can actually have that mix. It's always going from one style to another, back and forward. So the cartoonish levels means that the darker stuff doesn't drag you down too much, and the darker stuff means that the cartoonish level of action at times doesn't spin the movie off in a way that something like Robert Rodriguez films just becomes cartoonish and just becomes silly and there's no depth to it. This one really manages the depth in a way that I don't think anyone else can really pull off. No one in the West can pull this mix off, really. I mean, Tarantino does something like this, but I don't think he does it quite as good as this. When Mickey is so outlandish, he's not really in that. He's not really going for that. He goes cartoonish, but he's going for a different type of cartoonishness. And Sono has his own kind of weird, perverse element that's different from this as well. I mean, Japan's really good at mixing genre styles, but Sakamoto's got his own dark feel to him as well. But this one's got his own specific feel. It's just very unique and very memorable. And it's one of those films that's a joy to watch when you're watching it, even if you don't know where it's going. Just the filmmaking, just the character, just the way they are in a frame is what really keeps you going in the film, because it's so good, it's so entertaining, just the scene by scene level. Kind of similar to what Howard Hawks used to do, where sometimes the plot didn't matter as much as just sitting with these characters and watch them interact and watching them get on with their lives was enough, really, in some of those films. So that's the thing in this film we've really got going for it. Now, the plot is actually quite simple, and it's literally a film with a plot that's pretty much a short story type of development of story. I mean, you'd write this in about 5 or 6 pages quite easily as a very spare short story, or you could make it 20 pages. But it's not really about the plot. The plot's there, but they expand on it in interesting ways. But it's all about characters and rooms and interacting. So it's not really something that has an epic feel to it, story-wise. Basically, a guy who was friends with there's 4 criminals who work, for the local crime syndicate. And the boss is about crazy. He's played by Simon Yam, and he's having a ball in this part. He's just going so far over the top. He's like, he's seen this is his chance to Scarface it up, and he really takes it. Because he's a director who's encouraging him to do it, and it works perfect for the film. So he's a crime boss, and he's ordered this guy who's come back into the area to bring up a family to be killed because this guy shot him years ago, and the wound's still there and still hurts him, and it's like, you have to kill him. And so he sends people to kill him who were his friends. Like, these 4 people were his friends. They all grew up together. They were just this group of kids who grew up in this terrible neighbourhood. They all became criminals, all became very good at their job. So no matter how skilled they are, and they're very skilled in their various levels, some of them are much more low-level criminals, some of them are like henchmen who are highly skilled shots, and there's 1 or 2, like Anthony Wong, who feels much more like a guy who's an organiser of the crime syndicate and someone who does a lot of bossing around. So they've all sent, it's a test of loyalty. You have to kill this guy. I know he's your friend, but you have to kill him. It's imperative he dies. So it's like, they go to kill him. And they're secure at that. So they meet up at the area and they're passing cigarettes to each other. They're just waiting for him to arrive. Because we get there, his wife's there, the child's there, but he's not there. Eventually arrives with the furniture. And what this film does instantly is change your expectations of where it's going to go. Because you're waiting for a shootout, and there's all this posing, but as soon as they talk, these guys help him move his furniture in, and help him set it all up. After a little bit of a shootout between each other in the house, which is like a posing bit, they help him set the furniture up. And they realise they cannot do what they've been assigned to do. They cannot deal with this. They don't want to kill their friend off. They feel guilty. One of them was involved in the plot to kill the boss 8 years ago, and his pal never told anyone he was also involved. So if he would be up shit creek as well. But it's also just the fact that these are all friends, and they like each other's company. They just like being around each other. And they just find they cannot kill this guy. No matter what, they cannot kill him. He's too close to them, and he's been on the run. This guy, he's coming back home. He's being stubborn. He's like, I just want a life. I don't care about this stuff anymore. But his past won't let him do that. So after they hang out and they pose for a photograph, which you can see behind me, they decide to go on the run and try and get him money so he can get away. And because the guy needs to make a living, he's been wandering for years, and it's no good for him anymore. He just needs something to make a living. So they decide to go do some jobs to help him and help themselves as well, because they're on the run from their own people. And so they know people in a neighbouring area that the bosses try to take over. So they go to a person they know to do a job for this person, who then, of course, sells them out at the biggest opportunity. But he doesn't sell them out until they've messed up a job. I mean, he's not that cynical. But they ask him to go and kill this guy. Their boss wants dead anyway. So he says, look, just go kill him. It means that if you kill him, you get paid by me. I don't have to deal with your boss beyond, look, I killed your enemy. It makes you look better. They go, okay. There was other jobs offered to them, but they meant have to split up and do different jobs individually. But the joy of this is just them sitting in a room talking to this guy, and just how cool they are, how relaxed they are, and how they're enjoying their company, they're enjoying each other's company. And it's just this movement of these people who are just relaxing themselves. They're cool, but they're not telling you they're cool. They're cool because they're relaxed. They're cool because they're not commenting. In fact, they're cool. There's a lot of jokes here or there, but it's not like a Tarantino film where it's almost arts how cool they're meant to be, and then they undercut that with their foibles. Here, it's just like these people are just existing, like a Howard Hawks movie. They're just existing. They're unneurotic. They have their problems, they have their worries, going against their own boss, but they don't have neurotic feelings. It's just like, this is what we have to do to survive. And it's a bit, they're almost like kids playing with each other, well, with adult responsibilities. Anthony Wong's character, who feels responsibilities more than anyone else, he feels like he has to lead them to get them out of this situation. And, of course, he's mocked for it, as you do to your pals. But eventually they go to this job, and it turns out nothing's what it seems. It turns out the person I'm trying to kill, the boss, doesn't want dead. He's trying to kill the guy. He's trying to kill an interloper who ordered the other guy to pay them to kill the guy. It's all very confused. There's a massive shootout, and then they're on the run. One of the pal they're trying to save is injured, badly injured. They have to try and get him to a doctor. All hell breaks loose there, and slowly becomes a night or two of them getting into misadventures, you know, and trying to deal with the repercussions of what's happened and what they've done. I'm not going any further in the plot. There's not that much of it, but things do happen. But I think it's more enjoyable to see it happen and be told this is a stunning film, you have to go see it, rather than me just saying, okay, this is what happens now and this is what happens now. The joy of this film is the discovery of the film, the discovery of the characters. It's also the discovery of the mood of the film. The mood, the big important thing. Just the interplay of the kind of absurd and farcical with the more realistic implications of what's going on, because they've got a childlike feel to them. Like they have a responsibility to the boss, but they don't have, they're kind of like people who are like samurai. They don't have other responsibilities around that. They go do their job, they pay their rent, they go on with their lives, but they don't have that much responsibility, and they can be carefree and they can be playful. So it's mixing that with their actual responsibilities as they move away from their safe zone, as they show loyalty to their friend, and as them starting to come to terms with consequences of their actions. But it's never done in a way that's like monologuing like crazy and making you really fed up with them. No, it's just done casually. They're still mocking a friend who's a bit overweight. They're still enjoying each other's company and setting each other up. And whenever they're into any fight scenes, the fun thing is how they hold their own while they're planning something as they go. Like they're very good at working someone out in the fly, saying, okay, we can do this, so you cover this just now while we do this. But they're doing it as they go. They're not planning ahead, they're just doing it as they go, and there's a real charm to that. The feeling of they're making this up as they go along, but they're intelligent enough and they're experienced enough to be able to do that and not get too stressed out about it. Which is another thing, it's a total pleasure to watch, just these actors playing off each other. I mean, Anthony Wong, you've seen in a lot of films if you like Asian films, but this is one of his best parts. He's just having a ball playing the leader of the pack, but he's still getting set up a little bit by the other members, and he's very amused by it. He does have a kind of moral code that sometimes he probably wishes he didn't have, but he's got it, so he has to live with it. And it's just a pleasure to watch him in this film. It's a pleasure to watch all of them. They're all so good. All the actors are so good. All the supporting actors are so good. The woman playing the wife of the guy there, Betty Kill, was so good. She becomes more important as the film goes on. There's a prostitute character who seems like a throwaway part and just becomes more and more important as the film goes on. Lots of things just go crazy, but it's just wonderful to watch these characters just interact, and just the way Johnnie To just directs them, because he's not about trying to have the biggest action scene ever. It's about put these guys in an action scene and then watch how it develops. Watch how they react to things and watch how they react to each other. And that's the fun of it. It's not about blowing everything up. It's about them trying to start a car that's not starting. You know, it's things like that. And that comes early enough, so I'm not spoiling anything. You know, it's things like that. That's the important thing. It's about 5 people who know each other really well try to start a car. That's what it's about. So I mean, it's very hard to talk this film beyond saying it's a joyful experience, because it really is. That's the thing you get from watching this film. Just the joy of the filmmaking, the joy of the characters, and just the calm that Johnnie To has as a director, that he knows this is enough. This is enough. This little thing that's a story that could have been told as a short story is strong enough if you put the characters in and make them into Mingo and stop the film enough to have little moments that for the directors maybe to cut out, but for them this becomes the main part of the film, which is the interaction between friends. That becomes the thing that always becomes the important thing within the film. And just this sense of humour with the action scenes, like he's mocking them, but he's not mocking, he's not over-egging and mocking. He is kind of like the Sergio Leone thing from the spaghetti westerns, where there is an ironic distance to the absurdity of it all, but it's not overplayed. It's not like done to a way where you're going, oh, please stop. You know, this is just, everything's just perfect. It's one of those films that they get the right actors, they get the right story. Everything was perfect. It's just like one of those films. It's just everything came together. Everything's perfect. You don't want to change anything in the film. It's just so good, and it's hard to find. I've only got it in DVD. I'm hoping to get it in Blu-ray at some point. But just go see it. It is just one of those perfect films. It's just so beautiful. It's just such a wonder. So go watch Exiled and go watch Johnnie To films, because he's such a good director, and he's very underrated in the West because there's so many other Asian directors out at the same time, and he kind of gets sidetracked a little bit because there's so many good ones. So sometimes he's like not as hyped up as he should be. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We're back with another one soon, but this is my view of Exiled. Right, bye for now.